Hey everybody, it's Zori from AstroWeb, and today I'm going to introduce to you the Core Web Vitals. This is a topic that a lot of you are familiar with but don't know too much about it in detail. In short, Core Web Vitals help you measure your website experience, your speed, your visuals, your user experience, your interactivity, and many other things. And Google uses it to help you, number one, understand how your website is doing from experience-wise from their standpoint. Number two is how they rank you. So Core Web Vitals is part of the ranking system in Google for your SEO. So you want to actually have a better score and have a better user experience. So customers and Google like you more and they give you more traffic. And in general, having a better, faster, loading interactive website also helps you with conversions. This is a really important part. So the faster website you have, the less pop-ups, the less things that are moving, the less bugs, the better interactivity, the more you can sell or convert your visitors or do things to your with your visitors on your website. So in general, Core Web Vitals trying to help you improve your website, get better SEO, and convert better. If you have an e-commerce site, you're going to sell more. If you have a lead generation site or a services site, you're going to get more customers. So what are the three things that are most important with Core Web Vitals? LCP, FID, and CLS. There's a few other things that are talked about, but these are the most important ones, especially the LCP and the CLS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump to one testing tool, and then we're going to go back and go in detail. So the first thing you may be familiar with for Core Web Vitals is the Page Speed Insights. If you go to Page Speed Insights, you can actually go and put in a website, for example, one of our clients right here, and you click on Analyze, and it'll give you a score from 1 to 100 on desktop and on mobile. Okay, and so what it's going to do is going to give you, based on its own data and a lot of its web vitals, it'll give you some information about how fast the website loaded, the FCP, the CLS, LCP, etc. So it'll give you all this information. It's going to show you how it's loading, going to give you some tips how to improve it, and some basic stuff also how to improve, and some basic information. So a lot of you know this tool, but you don't really know how to improve your website. And a lot of our clients ask us, how do I get a high score? How do I get a high score? So this is the topic of the video itself, okay? So we're going to jump back to this, but let's go more detail into these things. So what is LCP, first of all? LCP means largest contentful paint. Very simply, if you go, if you load the web page right here, let's go right here. If you load the web page, you'll see right here in the score that the web page is first requested. For example, you go to the browser, you hit enter, and then it takes a little time till you start seeing some initial information, and then eventually more things load, and then eventually everything loads. So for this largest contentful paint, that means what is the biggest part of the website, for example, like a big banner on the homepage that loads, that helps the customer, the visitor, understand, oh, this page is full. So what is the typically within the viewport? So when you load a page, let's say right here, let's load this page. So when you load it, typically what is the largest part of the website? Typically it's the banner on the homepage, but not always. How long does it take for this to load? And what that means for the visitor is, how long does it take for them to feel like really the website fully loaded, and then they can start interacting with it. They can read, they can click around, they can things like that. So how long is it? And so Google mentions that if it loads within 2.5 seconds or less, that's probably a good thing. Okay, that's probably a good thing right here. The second thing is the FID, the first input delay. Okay, what that means in short is when the web page loads, when the customer wants to do something, like they want to click or they want to input some information in a form, for example, how long does it take to have from the moment they click to actually the system doing something? So for example, I clicked. Does it immediately, within 0.1 seconds, do I immediately go to the next step? When I type in a form, do I see the letters quickly? How long does it take for me to interact with the website once I do some kind of thing? Okay. And the third thing is the CLS, so the cumulative layout shift. This means this is more for visual stability and experience. So what does that mean? So when you go to a website and you load the page, for example, let's load the page, you'll see that the page goes this page loads, and sometimes the page kind of pushes down, either a pop-up or maybe the page loads and then the banner loads and pushes everything down. So anytime you have non-stability, so for example, let me go to another page. You click here and then suddenly, for example, this image maybe this loads and then the image goes and then it pushes everything down. So anytime something shifts that they're not set completely and they shift, then that's something that's not good for Google. And typically it's like pop-ups or coding when you don't specify things like image sizes. Those things happen. So this is another score itself. Okay, now there's more details, but these are the really big things, especially these two that happen. Okay, so what Google says is for any one of these, if you get a score under these scores, then you're probably a good one. And so your score here will be higher, and obviously it'll be better for your rankings. And then these are just basic things. Don't move things around too much for the customer. Don't make sure your website loads quicker. Make sure your website is interactive, right? If someone clicks on something, it immediately does what they want it to. If they type in something in the form, immediately they can see it, right? Don't delay things. And these are a lot of times coding, server setup, size of content, how much stuff you're loading, when you're loading them, things like that. Okay, so these are the most important three things. Now, we talked about the web page speed, and there's another thing here, which is in Google Search Console, Google has something called Experience, which is Page Experience, and Core Web Vitals. So Core Web Vitals will help you understand which pages on mobile and which pages on desktop are good pages, which you don't need to improve, needs improvement, and are very poor, which of course need a lot of improvement. So you see, for example, here our website on mobile is all good, and on desktop we have some pages that need improvement. So if I click on the report right here, I'll be able to see that my issues are CLS related, right? So what is CLS? Let's go right here. Okay, cumulative layout shift. So for example, I have something on my pages, let's look at it for a second, that are shifting the layout in a certain way. Now, if you notice, I had some pages and then we made some fixes and I have one page, but we've basically mostly fixed it. But let me show you an example what that might be like. Okay, so if I load my page right here and I look at CLS, I have a score here of almost 0.8. So if I go down here to right here, layout shifts, it'll show you what information, what elements, for example, this element on the home page, this one is maybe shifting. When you load it, maybe it loads the page and everything gets pushed a little bit. This one also, and so each one has a score of how much it affected, right? And so I want to fix these things. These are very small shifts, which typically I want to focus less on it, unless you want to get a perfect score. And these are the ones that are kind of high score. So I would basically focus on these two elements, this and this, which are basically this one, and I believe this one. Let me double check that. Let's go right here, and this one, C-Wire Client. So these are ones that I basically want to improve. And then you'll have to give a developer and tell them, hey, I don't want it to shift. You'll fix it, and then you rerun the score, and you're good to go. So these are basically the most important things. Now, part of the Google Search Console and the rankings in Google starting from June 2021, right, is the page experience. So what they do is they try to give you a score for your SEO and for you as a webmaster to know how many pages have a good experience. So what is a good experience considered for Google? Core Web Vitals, right? So that's obviously we talked about the mobile usability, right? Because more and more visitors use mobile phones. And so what that means is is it responsive? Is it easy to read on mobile? Are the buttons not too close to each other? Things like that. Are there any security issues like you got hacked? And is your whole website using HTTPS, right? So HTTPS would be here, okay? And if you have anything with ad experience, which we don't. So this is basically the idea. So Core Web Vitals is usually the most important, biggest part of the whole web page experience. Google is pushing websites to do better. It's good for everybody. It's good for Google. It's good for visitors. It's good for your business. So you need to improve it. So last part of this video is some tips are a few basic tips on how you improve things. And we're going to make more and more videos on how to improve your website. This is just an intro to Web Vitals. Okay. So once you run your scan here on the PageSpeed Insights, you'll be able to get a score. And of course, you'll shift between mobile and desktop. And what you'll be able to see is the information right here. So what is in red? What do I need to improve? So first of all, opportunities are always the one that you can improve the most. For example, I have here, I'm going to look at these one by one. I'm going to say, oh, can I improve my code? This is my JavaScript. This is my font. So for example, I can basically improve my fonts here. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to opportunities and you're going to look at this information and give your developer and say, oh, we need to specify properly sized images. So maybe we have images that are too large for, maybe I uploaded images that are too large for what they're actually displaying on the web page. And that means there just takes more time to download these bigger files, which we don't even need. So I basically go talk to my web developer, figure out the best sizes, resize it, or have the web developer resize them automatically, which is also doable. And then for diagnostics, I would look at these things and I would go one by one to improve it. And I go here, okay, ensure text web font. Obviously, this would be like a preload, basically using font display, which is related to the CSS. And I would go one by one and I would basically load them and I'd figure those things out. Now, the biggest tip I can give you, because these are all very specific and we'll make more videos for these specific things, more for developers, but we'll make these things. The biggest things you need to focus, typically from our experience from tens of websites, are figure out the largest contentful paint, the LCP, try to improve it, especially use preload. Preload is a really important one that'll help improve the score. And the CLS, figure out how to improve the layout shifts, reduce the layout shifts. So those two things will give you high scores. How do you know what will give what and how much effort? So first of all, you have scores, right? You have these scores and times, and you have these scores. The second thing you can do, which is really important, is you can go here to click here on C Calculator. And what it'll do, it'll take these scores, and if you shift these things, like you improve your LCP, you'll see how the numbers shift. Basically, the numbers in your score will shift. So then you can make an effort with your developer and you can see if you improve some of these things. For example, I improve my CLS, you'll see that I get these scores. Now, if you notice, LCP has, a maximum of these numbers. So you'll be able to see which ones you might want to improve more and then play with it, and your developer needs to give you difficulty and time, because in some cases changing your code could be a big effort, in some cases it's not. So for example, preloading of fonts, preloading of your major big banner, those are typically very easy and give the highest value. And we'll make more and more videos for a lot of these things. We made some videos, I'll link a few other videos like how to improve your score with Cloudflare, for example, on a very, very easy way, and we'll make more and more videos. We have a playlist which I'll include in the description, and that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to go very, very deep into speed optimization in the near future. We're going to make more and more videos, ask questions, give comments, show how you've done better, and appreciate your time, guys. Thank you again.